On August 10, 2018, Jewish South African Bible teacher David Nathan was excommunicated from Memorial Ministries abruptly. What was the sequence of events that led up to this, and what really happened? James A. Prasch, later renamed Jacob Prasch, after moving to Israel, titles himself a Hebrew-speaking evangelist to the Jews in his bio. After moving to Israel, Jacob adopted his Jewishness, midrash theory, and study of the Hebrew language at this time.
I met her taking this Arab guy with gangrene to the hospital. I spoke very little Hebrew at the time and no Arabic.
Jacob makes it clear to the Jews, however, to not confuse him for a Jew. He states here, "I know Jewish people are revolted by Jews who believe in Jesus, so you can rest assured, my mother is a Gentile Roman Catholic." David Nathan, on the other hand, grew up as an Orthodox Jew until he was led to Yeshua in 1986.
I was appointed as the Memorial South Africa Administrator on the 20th of November of 2014, whilst in the UK with Jacob, in fact, whilst leaving London City Airport.
Jacob and David hit it off immediately and brought into the Memorial fold. Jacob affectionately calls David a nice Orthodox Jewish boy who got saved by his Messiah. David was quickly adopted into the Memorial circle and became a very popular speaker, often sharing the same stages with Prasch in Canada, America, and South Africa. This seemed like an answer to prayer, since Memorial had realized that Jacob had become too much of a one-man show, and Jacob knew that was a problem for multiple reasons. Memorial states, "Until now, too much of Memorial's itinerant ministry has focused on Jacob Prasch. In the future, David Nathan, Marco, and maybe a few others will be preaching for Memorial." For the first time, possibly since Memorial's inception, another popular Jewish speaker could represent Memorial side by side with the long-time Lone Star Mr. Prasch. In October 2016, 2 years before David shares his millennial view at Bill Randall's church in 2018, David shared his millennial view at Marco's church in California. Mr. Prasch and Marco both appear to agree completely with David Nathan's millennial view of salvation by grace ending upon Christ's return.
How good and how pleasant it is for brothers dwell together in unity. Psalm 133.
Psalm 133. Amen.
But once the harpazo transpires, the Lord will refocus his primary intentions on the salvation of Israel, although not salvation in the sense we understand it, not by grace. It'll be Old Testament, reversion to Old Testament way of dealing with man and the nations.
David, anything to add on that?
I think it's very important. What Jacob's saying is so important. It just needs to be just re-emphasized. Is after the rapture, the age and dispensation of grace, as we know it, the church age is over. From that moment until the end of the millennium, everything reverts back under law. There is no salvation in the sense of being adopted, being part of the family of God, and of being adopted, being part of the family of God, and the Jews and those in the millennium will become the people of God, not the family of God. The new moon offering, everything reverts back under old covenant. So when Jesus comes, that's it. Salvation, as we understand it, by grace is over. And that's why the parables of the marriage feast in Matthew 22 and again in 25 says, when the door is shut, no one else can come in. If you don't have a wedding garment on, in other words, says, when the door is shut, no one else can come in. If you don't have a wedding garment on, in other words, garments made white by the blood of the Lamb, you come in with any other garment, you're going to get kicked out. So when the Lord returns, he comes for his bride. There's not two weddings.
Yep.
There's not two weddings.
Yeah.
There's one wedding for one bride at one time in history. You're either in it or you're not. After that, everything goes back under law.
Yeah.
We see Jacob nodding his head in agreement at everything David is saying.
The door being shut at the wedding is the same as the door being shut in Noah's Ark.
Correct.
The door of Noah's Ark is shut. and the wedding feast will be over.
At the wedding is the same as the door being shut on Noah's Ark.
Correct.
Yep.
Same.
The day the Noah into the ark, the door
That's
was shut.
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Noah into the ark, the door
That's
was shut.
right.
Absolutely.
Jacob and Marco agree 100% that once the door is shut after Christ's return, salvation as we know it is over. This means that millennial Jews and Gentiles will not be saved under grace as the marriage feast is over and Noah's Ark has been shut. A year and a half later, David Nathan would once again share his millennial view, and Jacob would once again not protest at all. Please subscribe to our channel. Tune back soon for part 2 of our chronology of the David Nathan Jacob Prasch series of unfortunate events. God bless.